This has been a week where I've been reading really different things than normal for the most part, and it's been really interesting. Hello and welcome to my channel. In this video I'm going to be doing my weekly wrap-up coming up again and talking about everything that I read in this week and what videos are going to be coming up here. So starting with what I talked about, books that I had started in the previous week. We have Ascended by Michael R. Miller, which is the first book in the Songs of Chaos series in these beautiful hardcover editions here. So I did finish this one, and it was one that was okay for me. This is one where there were definitely elements that I liked, but I think some of it's just not necessarily my style. This is a bit more on the YA side, and also has some like cultivation regression elements, which are really hit or miss for me. But this is one that I still I had a pretty solid time with. I had some things that I had issues with, and some things that I really liked in the way that this is handled. And I think it's going to be one too that a lot of people, if you really like the progression, the cultivation elements, I think will enjoy this one a bit more than I did as well. And so it was a solid read and one that I'll definitely be talking about more. Should be having a review come out for that this week. And then the other thing that I should have a review coming out for this week as well is Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. And I was just constantly thinking of young Frankenstein with this. And this was really interesting as well, because I'm pretty sure when I was like a kid I read this, and I had basically no memory. And there were a few things that I'm like, I vaguely remember this, but I remembered very little about this. And classics are another thing that I've kind of meant to read. I have a lot of just one-off classics in these paper mill classics format, and I haven't read most of them. And so it's an area that I kind of also wanted to go. It's still something I own physically and so was doing. And this was also, it was I really enjoyed it, but it was a little bit of a mixed bag because the writing style and the prose, beautiful. I absolutely loved it. But doing some of the classic thing where there's just seems to be extraneous details and plot lines there for some reason as well. So that's definitely one that I will be digging into and talking quite a lot about. I'll probably do that one as a spoiler video too, especially because, I mean, like, it's possible that you're like me and haven't read it, but at this point I don't feel like spoilers are going to make much of a difference of this particular story and with some of these classics that have been, done in so many different ways. So definitely we'll be talking about that as well. And then I did decide this week to pick up another one of my paper mill classics, just because I was curious to try some more right now because I had a good time with Frankenstein. So I grabbed The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde by Robert Louis Stevenson. Robert Louis Stevenson, probably. And I grabbed this one because it is like 100 pages, so it's very short. So I was actually planning on having finished this week. In reality, I've actually only read like 2 chapters, which, I mean, is still... I'm still like 15%, almost 20% into this book probably at this point because it is so short. But I haven't read a ton yet. And this one I'm not sure. It's another thing as well where like the story here has been done and redone a million times. If it's in public domain and you can do whatever you want with it. So I'm positive I've never read this though, so I don't know. And the way that it started was kind of interesting. Felt like in a style that kind of made sense, but I really have not gotten far enough in at this point. The first chapter was very much kind of introducing it, and then the second chapter was where we were just kind of getting started. So I'm like, I haven't gotten far enough in, but I'll kind of see. No strong feelings yet, but that'll most certainly I will be done with that in this week that this video is coming out because it's super short. And honestly, I probably would have been finishing it, but I've been mostly focusing on Fairy Tale by Stephen King here. And this is one that, I mean, if you see me talk, I'm not really a King fan, but I was given this as a gift. And started a buddy read with it because there were several of us that were in Discord that were given this as a gift and just had never gotten around to it for one reason or another. Some others just not King fans, and others just hadn't gotten to it. So I thought, okay, why don't we all just do a buddy read of it? And so we decided to, and we're doing it this month. And I'm about a third of the way through here. This has been my triple format because I have my physical book, and then my library has the ebook and the audio. So I've just been focusing most of my time on this one, and that's why I haven't gotten more to Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, because I'm still physically reading this as well. And so going the triple format, which is fun. There are parts, I got to one randomly, I happened to be listening to the audio during a chapter that Stephen King narrates a portion of this for reasons that relate to it. But I'm not having a bad time so far. I am about a third of the way through. And this is the one, too, where a lot of really big Stephen King fans liked like the first third of this book and did not like the next 2/3, because this is kind of where things are shifting. And so I'm just at the part where this shifts from being, it's very like a literary fiction novel, exploring some ideas that are familiar with the main character, who, when he's a kid, his mother dies, and then his father becomes an alcoholic, and then that's kind of what we start off with, and then it's as he gets older and things are changing, and so exploring that kind of thing. But then after about a third of the way through is where we start to really get to like what's on the cover and why it's called fairy tale. And it seems to be doing some kind of meta exploration of fairy tales and writing, and things like that as well, which doesn't necessarily surprise me with King, but I'm still actually interested. I'm having a good time with this. It took me a little bit to get into it. I have some critiques about the style, especially when you have 75-year-old Stephen King. And this was, I mean, granted, this came out a couple years ago, so he would have been a couple years younger, but writing for a teenager that's supposed to be like modern time teenager, which didn't work the best. Some of the way he phrases things definitely felt like this was should have been a teenager, 40 years ago or something, but it was fine. It wasn't that big of a deal, and I've been pretty interested so far. So maybe this will be a Stephen King novel I like. I've said I think it'll be funny if I really like this when all the King fans don't. So maybe it will, because I'm not usually much of a King fan. So this I still have like about a third of the way through, but this should also be done this week as well. And so ideally I'll finish both things I have going on and then start some other stuff. So we'll see what that ends up being. I'm not really sure. I have several different options I've been thinking about, because I'm always kind of thinking about what's going to be next. But I've also been sort of just grabbing, whatever struck me. And then Fairy Tale was a buddy read, obviously, but then that's why I grabbed another classic, and then we'll see from there. But that's really it for this week. Make sure to let me know in the comments what you're reading this week, if you have thoughts on anything that I talked about here as well. Of course, make sure to give the video a like if you enjoyed it. Check the link in the description, as always, for the Wizardly Enclave Discord if you want to chat books, whether these books, other books, really anything at all. It's a lot of fun. We'd love to have you. And, of course, if you enjoy my content, make sure to subscribe.